I'm not staying here. It's crap. What are you going to do? Walk home? I'll get the train. Grandpa Doc can get me at the station. And I'm going to buy a ticket, am I? You really think Grandpa Doc can be bothered looking after you? Grandpa Doc and Dad? That isn't going to happen, Ralph. This is our home now. We have a home. We don't, Ralph, actually. Grandpa Doc's has never been our home. Grandpa Doc's was only ever temporary. We've always lived there. It was never our intention. We still lived there. Yes, and now we're going to live here. So why can't Dad be with us too? We're not getting into that again. Because he has to think about things. He does, and thinking is not your father's strong suit. It's just a car. The car is the least of it, Ralph. There's other things. Barney Hill. You really are our little Mr. Big Ears, aren't you? I'm not discussing Barney Hill, Ralph. We've come all this way. You haven't even seen our apartment yet. Have you? I don't need to, Ralph. I've talked to Mrs. Green. It's furnished, it has 2 bedrooms, and it's near enough to Dr. Schlemick's. Plus there's the shops. It's a dump. Ralph, I know you've heard things. Grandpa Doc, I don't know what he fills your head with, but I do know this. You can't believe a single word he says. You seem to think I'm the most awful mother a boy ever had. Well, let me tell you this. There's a lot worse could have happened to you than having me for a mother. Now go and make yourself useful and find Mrs. Green while I find us the gate. It's Zelda's gowns. He gets out, bangs the door. Gates and paling fences stretch out on his right. Squeezed behind are narrow yards dominated by the high brick wall. On his left are single-storey factories and workshops, shabby affairs of brick and fibro with flattish roofs. Somewhere above a vent is squeaking as it turns. A trickling sound escapes a louver window covered by iron bars. He leaves the lane and walks round to the shops, where he finds Zelda's gowns. As he enters the shop, the fluorescents are going off, one after another. He is left standing in a musty gloom, surrounded by gaping mannequins. A smell of fabric hangs in the air. "You must be the boy." A bulbous figure looms out of the shadows. "I've been waiting for you." The speaker is an oversized parcel, her wrapping near to coming adrift. Under a sweaty brow, her eyes are small and grey, while her cheeks are like river deltas of capillaries. "My mum says you should let us in." "So, what's the story? There going to be 3 of you, or just the 2? "2 what?" "It's not a test, Tuppence. Is your father with you or not? That's all I want to know." "He's coming later. He has to think about some things." "Is there a lot for him to think about?" "I don't know." The bulbous figure leans in close and pokes his breastbone. "I'll tell you this for nothing, Sonny Jim. A man who has to think about things, he isn't worth the paper he's written on. There's a word for the wise from Mrs. Green. Now you run along. I'll be out directly."